Hey, what's up everybody on YouTube? Although the FJ Cruiser and the 4Runner are fantastic vehicles, one of the main concerns about both vehicles is the lack of frame protection. And there's one particular spot on these vehicles that is subject to vulnerability because of a flaw in the way that Toyota has laid out their air conditioning. But I want to show you what I'm talking about here, so I'll turn the camera around and give you a look here. Alright, so I just came back from driving and had the AC on, and you can see here, this is typical of most normal cars, but you have a little bit of AC condenser drip here coming down from the bottom. The issue is with FJs and 4Runners that the condenser hosing tube drips down at a certain part where it lands on the frame, where if water starts to pool, it starts to rust and it starts to eat away at the frame in this specific area. All right, the specific area that I'm talking about here is right underneath the passenger side wheel well. So I'm going to try my best to take these clips off and then take a closer look at what we've got going on back there. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with a flathead screwdriver, and then I have a set of trim removal tools that can be kind of helpful in this scenario. There's a little indentation here on this little clip here that I'm going to stick my flathead in. I'm going to pry this off as carefully as I can. Okay, so now that I have that through, I'm going to take this little pry tool, kind of get that in between. Okay, you want to be very patient with this. Maybe give it a little wiggle back and forth. I can feel it coming out, and now I can pull it out with my hands. Okay, so that's out now. Now that this piece is out, that secondary piece is going to come out quite easily. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing for the second one over here, and then kind of work it out slowly and pull it out. Okay, so that's out. Now that this is out, this one should come out quite easily, and there it goes. And then I'm going to take you guys in here. You can actually see the AC condenser hose right there, right? That's where the water is dripping from. You can see here exactly where that water is dripping onto the frame. So mine doesn't look too bad here, and I'm lucky enough to live in a climate that's relatively dry, but for others this might be an issue. So the idea is to get this extension onto that tube so that we could reroute that drip from wherever it's dripping onto the frame and then onto the ground, so that it clears this metal part of the frame so that it doesn't pool water, and we won't have any potential rusting issues. All right, so I just ordered some parts from Amazon, and these are the fittings. This is a plastic hose fitting, 3/8 on both sides, and they have these barbs. And then I bought this hose. Here's the item number. Okay, and then so I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. This is the hose. So the fitting here is going to go into the original tube on the FJ Cruiser. It's going to get inserted into here. All right, let's see if this goes in easy, and if it doesn't, of course, we'll just heat up the tube with the blow dryer, but we'll just give it a try now first. All right, okay, so it's on there. All right, so now we'll take this over to the FJ and then finish off the job. Okay, so now that we've pre-assembled our hose and attachment, I'm gonna just try to stick this portion into that hose there. All right, it's on there, but I wanna push it up a little further. All right, so based on what I'm feeling, the OEM hose feels more like, I would call it more like rubber. And I would call this hose, this specific product, more of a silicone-based product. Now I chose this one specifically because some of the things that I read about the rubber products that I was looking at tend to crack over time. And I want to believe that the silicone product is going to have a little bit more longevity. Either way, it's not a very expensive item. You can tell the difference. It's a little bit tighter here, so this material is definitely thinner than the OEM rubber here. But as long as it doesn't fall out, I should be fine with that. All right, there is the proof of concept. We've got the drip line extended beyond the frame, and now it's dripping down here. I'm actually going to route it this way. One concern that I have would be that this could potentially pinch. So if you pull too hard, you know, you can kind of see that there's like a little pinch spot right there. So if this does happen, this might not allow the water to run down where it should. See, so there's a little pinch spot here that I'm talking about here. So it's definitely something we don't want. Alright, so now that you guys have seen that silicone tube in action, I just want to put this one on here and show you guys the difference between how flexible it is in terms of bending in certain directions. So again, if you're going to reroute this to a certain point, you want to make sure that it will flex enough to allow water to continue to pass through. So again, this is a 3/8 inch inner diameter, 1/2 inch outer diameter. And we're going to take our 3/8 inch hose fitting. We're going to fit one end. Because it's so snug, I know that this is not going to go anywhere. So I've seen people secure these fittings with some hose clamps, but in this case, it's not going to be necessary. All right, so that's one end. We're going to take it over to the FJ and install it into the other end. Okay, so this is a little bit of what I'm talking about here. I've got this tube here kind of snaked around this way and then bent down this way so that it exits here. Now, if you remember previously, I had this black tube going straight down this way, and this worked just fine because there were no bends in the tube. However, if you don't want this to go straight down, so for example, if this was up here, if I wanted to route this down, okay, right there, you can already see the bend in the tube right there, which is problematic for draining water. So just keep that in mind if you decide to use a silicone tube like this, and that it's prone to kinking, which I've found to be true. So, you know, you can see how easily that'll kink. Whereas with this other tube here, there's a little bit more forgiveness in terms of bending it around corners. If you do want to route it to, you know, somewhere further back there, you do have some points where you can attach a zip tie here, where you can maybe secure the hose up here so that it doesn't move. So, all right, so there we have the hose extended actually below the frame here, and it's going in between these two mounting points, and it's relatively stiff enough where I know it's not going to flap around. So this one is definitely less prone to kinking, and it might be a good option for you to use. I just showed you two different options here, and you can take that information as you will and decide which one works best for you. All right, you guys, there you have it. That is a quick and easy way to minimize one potential rust area. Depending on where you live, this may be important to you. It may not, but you know, I figured just for, you know, 10 bucks or so, this is a simple mod that you can do just to give you a little bit of peace of mind that the air conditioning runoff will not do any damage to your frame. I hope you found that helpful and informative. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please consider subscribing for more FJ Cruiser content. Otherwise, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.